We let ex-convicts marry, reproduce, buy beer, own property, and drive. They don't lose their freedom of religion, their right not to have soldiers quartered in their homes in time of war, but in many places, the assumption is that they can't be trusted to help choose our leaders. If we thought criminals could never be reformed, we would never let them out of prison. Steve Chapman, a columnist and editor-writer. Throughout this speech, I will speak about why ex-convicts should regain their ability to vote again after having served their time and having paid all their fees without being on any type of parole or probation. According to the US Today magazine, in the 2000 presidential election, one of 50 American citizens, totaling a number of 4,200,000 Americans, did not have the chance to vote after serving their prison sentence, probation time, and having their fees paid. As I get older, I tend to realize that people definitely have ability to change and they shouldn't be able to keep paying debts or consequences for crimes that they have done in the past when they didn't have as much experience as they do now, or they're not the same people as they used to be. People change. And I feel like that's what society is failing to realize, is that people do have ability to change, and they shouldn't keep getting judged on past as past crimes. And people do get older and people do realize that the crimes that they did were, maybe dumb or stupid at the time. Well, not at the time, but later on they realized that what they did was wrong. And people do change, like I said. And throughout this speech, I will discuss how some different states have different regulations when it comes to ex-convicts regaining their voting rights, as well as how minorities always tend to have the highest percentage incarcerated, and as well as the benefits that it may develop if more people can vote regardless of their past criminal history. I see the situation as, imagine serving a 15-year prison sentence. In my opinion, one's mentality definitely changes throughout 15 years in prison with all these men around. You don't know what's going on in the outside world. You don't know who to connect to anymore. People in the outside world change as you're in prison, so you really don't have anyone to trust on or rely on at that point. Imagine having served all that time and then you come out and you have this whole new mentality as a new person, and you have a whole new plan on how you want to continue or start a whole new life after 15 years. That's over a decade. Imagine not having the ability to vote because you just served a 15-year prison sentence. So, in reality, as a person, how would that make you feel? You just served your time. You did 15 years of your life in this prison, away from your family, away from your loved ones. Now you have to start a whole new life, but you don't have a say-so in who can lead your country. That's not right. So I believe that there should be rules and regulations as to how we can change this, or how this can benefit our country more and help have a more say-so in who leads our country. Even though most states still have certain regulations against felons voting, there are still 4 states in the country who are totally against it. On the other hand, Maine and Vermont are the only 2 states who allows them to vote while serving prison time, which I think that's awesome, because even though they're in there, serving their time for these crimes they've committed, they still have a say-so on what goes on in their state. And I believe that that's a huge plus to them. And it's a shame that there's only 2 out of 50 states that are for this. For example, where I live in Alamance County, ex-felons are allowed to vote as long as they've served their time, they have paid all their fees, they are not on any type of parole or probation. And in my opinion, it should be like that in a lot of places, in a lot more places. And these states that are totally against it, I feel like they should have a new point of view and check their surroundings and how society is nowadays, and give these people another chance. If you don't give them another chance, they'll end up right back in prison because they don't have the opportunity to grow as a person. And I feel like that's what's wrong with a lot of our societies. People are not giving second chances, and I believe that giving felons the ability to vote again and to who leads our country, it will give them a better say-so and makes them feel better as a person. According to the U.S. government studies, 36% of African American men are totally disenfranchised, and about 2/3 of prisoners are made up of minorities. A prisoner advocate group, the Sentencing Project, stated that 1 of 3 African American men is banned for life from voting in the state of Alabama. So imagine that. Former Attorney General Eric Holder, JD, said throughout America, 2.2 million African American citizens are banned from voting because of these laws. In 3 different states, Kentucky, Florida, and Virginia, the ratio raises from 1 to 5. So imagine this. How different would our country be if everyone could have the ability to vote without any restrictions? I believe that letting everyone have a voice gives people a sense of feeling helpful and wanted throughout our community, and it can change a lot in our political world. So why not even give it a try? These ex-convicts, they're humans who make mistakes in their past, and most of them are just trying to learn from those mistakes and create a new life for themselves and their family. So why make them feel unimportant by taking away this right that's so valuable in society? Professor Corey Breckenshire from at Brown University said, giving inmates the right to vote isn't just constitutionally the right thing to do. It could also help the country solve one of its most intractable problems, which I think is very true. Now that I spoke about the different laws in some states, the minorities make a large percentage of not being able to vote. But giving these people the opportunity to vote can also bring a lot of benefits to our society. Picture yourself in a felon's shoes and how one must not feel knowing that they cannot vote due to a decision they made years, decades, even a lot of decades ago. Imagine how degrading it may be to others because it will make them feel as if they're unimportant to society. Just think about that and the changes that it can make in our political world if we allow everyone in our country to vote no matter what. Thank you.